The enable parameter allows you to turn a channel on or off. Once off, it will not respond to any MIDI data. You can call up a program and set volume and pan levels for each channel. These levels will change if you send subsequent MIDI pan or volume messages. If you want to keep the program pan and volume settings as they are, turn the lock parameters on. They prevent the 2500 from responding to program change pan or volume information for that particular channel. The last two parameters are output pair and output gain. The default settings for these parameters is program, which means that the settings found on the output page in the program editor will be followed. However, you can override this so that no matter what program is on the channel, it will have a specific setting. For example, you can change the output pair parameter on channel 1 so that any program called up on channel 1 will be assigned to the B outputs. The program change soft button allows you to send out a program change on any channel without affecting the programs assigned to the various channels within the 2500. The reset channel soft button gives you a quick way to set all 16 channels back to their default parameters. Master mode contains global parameters which affect the entire instrument, as well as some useful utilities. Global tuning and transposing are available, and you can adjust the contrast of the display. There are also parameters for setting the outputs to be stereo or mono. This is also where you set the drum channel. As we mentioned before, the drum channels are 1 through 8, or 1 through 7, plus the channel you designate here. The intonation parameter allows you to choose between various tuning tables. The default is equal tempered tuning, but the 2500 comes with 16 other tuning tables you may want to experiment with. You can also create your own tuning tables. To do this, highlight the intonation parameter. We'll select number 2, Classic Just, and press Edit. You will see a display that is laid out like a keyboard with 12 values, one for each note in the octave. Tuning tables are octave-based. That means that an octave will still be tuned as a normal octave, but within the octave, the various intervals can be tuned plus or minus in 1 cent increments. For example, in this table, a half step is 29 cents flat, and a whole step is 4 cents sharp from being an equal tempered tuning. Once you have made changes, you can name and save the intonation table in the same manner as other objects. Even though the diagram represents a keyboard going from C to B, you can have any note of the scale act as the root that the various intervals are tuned from. Exiting back to the master page, notice the parameter called intonation key. This will be the root key. You can change this in real time by sending MIDI note numbers 0 through 11. Now let's look at the soft buttons. The sample button takes you into the sampler. Covering sampling is beyond the scope of this video. Please consult the chapter in the manual on sampling. The utility button gives you a screen with 4 choices. The MIDI soft button stands for MIDI scope. This is a very useful tool for diagnosing MIDI problems. When you press it, the screen goes blank, except for the Done button. Now the 2500 will display every MIDI message it receives. It shows you the type of message being sent along with the channel it was sent on and the values for the message. Press Done to return to the utilities. Consult your manual for descriptions of the other utilities. Press Done again to return to the master page. The Delete Soft button calls up a bank dialog similar to the one you see when saving or loading. This allows you to delete whole banks of RAM objects or even everything in RAM. But if you would like to delete individual objects, press the Objects Soft button. This brings up a database management tool which allows you to access the various objects in internal memory. You can move objects from one location to another, make copies, rename, delete, or dump via sysx. As an example, we'll select Move. You now see a screen that is identical to the screen you saw in disk mode for selecting individual objects for saving and loading. You can select individual objects and move them to a different bank. We have designed the 2500 so that as your needs grow, the 2500 can grow with you. If you have the 2500 without sampling, the sampling option can be added at a later point. In addition, the following options are available. In addition to the 2500R's 8 megabyte of internal sounds, there are 3 optional ROM sound blocks which can be added to internal memory, so they're always available with no disks to load. The new 4 megabyte stereo grand piano sound block offers full bandwidth and the most realistic stereo piano sound Kurzweil has ever produced. Contemporary and orchestral ROM sound blocks, engineered for the 2500R, each add an incredible 8 megabyte of new sounds to your instrument. Orchestral ROM contains superb orchestral samples, plus layers and splits, combinations, and synth programs based on the orchestral samples. Contemporary ROM contains a collection of Kurzweil's hottest contemporary music sounds, from distorted lead guitar to ethnic percussion. The Kurzweil Digital Effects option introduces Kurzweil's new digital signal processing chip, a next-generation effects processor that's second to none. With 4 stereo buses, full bandwidth, plenty of DSP power, and the most flexible routing scheme on the market, KDFX can replace the separate effect processors you used in mixdown. You can route any signals from guitars, keyboards, vocals, mixers, etc. into the K2500R sampling inputs and process them either in real time or with precise automation via MIDI. The rack mount digital multitrack interface provides a way of sending the 2500's 8 digital output streams directly to an Alesis ADAT, TASCAM DA88, or other compatible units, and simultaneously to 4 stereo AES EBU outputs. The DMT can also take the 8-channel digital outputs from a digital multitrack and send them to the 4 AES EBU outputs. With asynchronous sample rate converters, the 2500's output can effectively sync to any external sample clock. 2 AES EBU inputs allow the DMT to be used as a standalone sample rate converter. 2 DMTs can be used to convert DA88 to an ADAT format and vice versa. A single stereo pair goes back to the 2500 to allow digital transfer from a digital multitrack. You may choose to upgrade the 2500's program and sample memories. Battery-backed program RAM can be expanded from 240K to 1256K via standard SIPs. Sample memory expands to a powerful 128 megabyte for storing over 24 minutes of CD-quality sampled sound via standard SIMs. Finally, we have made it easier for you to upgrade the operating system when we release new versions. With Flash ROM, you can upgrade your operating system from floppy disk or SCSI. New software will be available via online services or from your Kurzweil dealer. You can also write your own setups and programs to Flash ROM. We hope that this video tutorial has been helpful. Take some time to explore the concepts we've covered here, and you'll have many enjoyable hours with your instrument. My name is Jordan Rudess. Enjoy your new K2500.